Chemistry Room Fragrances is the perfect addition when elevating the vibe of any space. Whether if it's your home, car, or office, and something needs a quick refresh, our room fragrances provide that beautiful burst of fragrance with just one quick mist. Shop now at www.chemistryroomfragrances.com and be sure to follow us on Instagram at Chemistry Room Fragrances. Chemistry Room Fragrances. Smells so good. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Can you hear me, girl?
I can. I don't know if you guys noticed. I tried to put a little beat on the intro this week. We are always trying to improve and grow. So I was like, let me see what I can do and mess around with this technology. So
Ew.
yeah, I gave you a little thunder a little bit. So
It's good. You're doing good. Every time it goes
oh
hot.
yeah, this episode. Oh my God, girl. So first of all, before we get started, I want to welcome everybody back. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Camille Essick. I am host of the Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and creators connect. If you haven't heard, shop with me right now at Chemistry Room Fragrances. The scent of the night is lavender vanilla. It's got a little notes of chamomile. It will get you all the way together and calm you all the way down as we get into the summer vibes. Follow me on Instagram at Camille.Essick. I'm also on TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook. I'm out there. And I'm also streaming on iHeartRadio, AfroPods, and all the other streaming platforms. So be sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe. And good black men, they still exist. They're not all bad. Shop with me right now on my website. Use the coupon code GBM15. That way you can save 15% at the checkout. Okay? I need you guys to go do that. Go grab that merchandise today. Today. So
Like
that
right now.
said, my sister and friend is here in the building. She is back. You may have seen her when we did Heart and Soul Conversations in February. And then she was on the Crown Act episode. And here she is again. The fabulous one and only Reese Ponder. Yeah.
Listen. But I'm saying, since you're talking about the crown and whatnot, do you
Listen,
see it?
looking amazing. The glow up is real. I'm absolutely loving
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Listen, so I am so excited. Despite the technical stuff that's going on, y'all don't even want to know what's going on behind the scenes. It's real. It's a little strange. We just moved, so we're trying to get settled. So we're grabbing speakers. I got children hitting lights, but I just wanted this to be good for you, Cam. This is really, really big,
You
and
are
it takes
good.
it takes a certain level of vulnerability to even sit on a chair, so to speak.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
And that's what we're getting to, y'all. This is a little different. I was like, I'm always interviewing people, but you guys want to know a little bit about Cam. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put myself out there and let's do a flip mode episode where I get interviewed. So
Yeah.
tonight I am the interviewee, and I wanted to have somebody on that I know that I could trust with their integrity, just with me handling me, and also with my platform. And Reese was the person that came to mind. She's someone that I trust. She's someone of integrity, and I know she wouldn't just do me crazy like that. So I was like, let me hit my sister. She should be willing to co-host and take over the driver's seat tonight. And I'm gonna sit on the other side of the mic, so that's why she's here. So definitely,
Absolutely.
yeah, Janice said it's gonna be good.
It is. Go ahead and share. Send
Yes,
some hearts up, send some praying hands. Get your Kleenexes, because I do believe that we don't do anything by happenstance. It's all designed according to to the purpose that God has called us. So we're gonna go as deep as this time allotted will allow. So first, let's get into it, Cam.
Well, before I do that, let's remind the people of who you are. So they
Oh,
can, who is this asking Camille all these
let me
questions?
check.
Yeah, a little tea.
Okay, my baby done made me some
The
tea.
white,
Ain't got nothing in it. It's just water and a tea bag. That's all that's in it.
yes.
Okay, so my name is Reese Ponder, Carecia Ponder. My family calls me Tierra. I have Instep LLC behind my name because I do believe that that is the platform which has reconnected me and Cam, Camille, Queen, whatever name you want to call her, right? Sis, that is a platform that is opening up so many doors and avenues for us to speak and be more vulnerable about who we are. When I say we, I say my husband and I, Stanley Ponder. You guys know him as Rev, and then you know me as Reese, and together we're in step, right? And so our ministry was created for to reach the masses of the folks outside of the church. We both, I came up in church, he didn't, right? And being so, there were some things that happened that didn't really sit well in my spirit. So when the universe connected us together, let's just say that. It was by divine intervention that we came into each other's lives, and we wanted to reach people by way of faith, family, fitness, and finances. So we talk about it all, right? Ain't nothing like having some faith to be the foundation for your family, right? And then once you get your family, what you do with your money, where you sow your seed, how you sow your seed, and the return that it brings back to you, right? And then we want to get into fitness a little bit because, you know, I'm from the Baptist church and folks ain't really talk about health for real. But we know that to be indeed a steward over the vessel that God has given us, we have to take care of our bodies. So fitness has been a very big thing for the past couple of years for us. So, and then with Instep brought us to Speaker Podcast. We had the pleasure of joining Cam, and she has sat in our audience and just cheered us on. Like when I say cheerleader, and that's why I just want to do you right on this. And by doing you right, I'm doing us right, because getting to know Cam lets the world know who you are, why you are, what you are, and then what you will esteem to, because it's going to only get bigger from here, right? So that's enough about me. You ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Woo! All right. So, you know, my first question, I didn't do you too dirty. I gave you a little bit of a heads up. We won't have too many surprises, but first
You
let's
never get on impromptu, so we don't know.
I got some impromptu questions from the good old Reverend.
Okay, oh Lord, let me spray some chemistry and calm myself down.
Go ahead. Okay, so we're getting into it now. So who is Camille Essick?
Oh Lord. So Camille I was born in Ohio, but I was raised in Nashville, Tennessee. I am the preacher's kid, PK. Grew up in Nashville, grew up in church. Church was all we knew. Sunday morning, Sunday school, Sunday morning service, night service. If we had to go sing at someone's church, we had to be there. Wednesday night Bible class, Friday night Saints meeting, choir rehearsal on Saturday, frying fish, selling Krispy Kreme donuts at Walmart outside.
Yes.
Riding the church van, shut-ins, vacation Bible school, convention, all that. Yeah. Introvert, quiet, grew up. I was talkative around my friends, close cousins, and family. But for the most part, I grew up very introverted. Some things happened when I was a child, which I shared previously. Touched inappropriately at the age of 7, again at 10. And as I got older, I just went deeper and deeper into myself and became more and more quiet. Was a wallflower in school. I had friends, but I was the nerd. I was a smart girl. I like to read books. I like to go to museums. When I was bored at my grandparents' house, I used to love reading Encyclopedia Britannica. So I was a bookworm. High school, again, was not the popular girl, had the glasses, ponytails, all that. Went to college, joined a sorority. I joined Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated in 1998. So that kind of dates me there. Did the corporate thing, then later joined the military, joined the Navy, did all that. That's where Reese and I met, serving in Rhode Island. Shout out to our class, NJS 160. did a deployment, got on some carriers, saw all the sites, did all the things, and went to California, got out, came to North Carolina, finished my master's degree August of 2021, which has been almost a year, and 9 to 5 podcasting, writing ebooks and chemistry, and there we are. Personally, I like to have fun. I'm a fun person, at least so I think. I try to be a friendly person. I am pretty quiet, but once I get to know you, I'll talk to just about whomever. I think I'm a real friend. At least I think so. I support you. If I rock with you, I rock with you. If
Right.
you cross me, my cutoff game is strong. I don't make an announcement. I will fall all the way back. I love to cook. I love interior design. I'm a girly girl. Love God. Love music. I love trying new things. I'm a thinker. I'm very analytical. Let's see what else. I'm creative. I'm very inquisitive.
You
I'm
are
very
creative. God,
resourceful.
God, you creative.
So yeah, and I'm very spontaneous. I can be kind of an A type personality when need be, but on the flip side, I can be very spontaneous and just on the fly, boom, go. So yeah, I guess
So
that
that
I answered that question. I guess.
I know you did answer it on the most superficial level, and that's not a bad thing, right? Most of the times when we answer questions, it is okay, the things that are at face value. But don't worry, we go deeper. Right? So thank you for telling us who you are according to you and what you like and some characteristics. And if someone was to say Cam did this, folks will be able to say, nah, that ain't like her. I'm not even worried about that. So thank you for that. So the next question is, how does who you are align with your purpose?
Ooh, um, I'm learning my voice, and that's something I was not always aware of as far as learning my purpose. Just because getting into this lane of podcasting has allowed me to dive deeper into the necessity of me to heal some areas that I didn't realize. I think sometimes we go through life I'm like, oh, I'm fine, I'm good, whatever. But then part of you is like, no, you're not. And so doing the podcasting, and as you know, I'm an advocate for mental health. I've always loved therapy, but I did it behind closed doors because growing up in church, mental health was taboo, right? You didn't talk about it. It was, oh, you just pray over it. It goes away, whatever. But I was like, I'm praying, I'm doing everything they're telling us to do, but I still don't like how I feel about me. And that's when I knew, like, hey, okay, I need to do something
Mhm.
differently. And so, in doing so, through the podcasting, I began to gain more courage to be more vocal about the importance of mental health and being more open about my story and my journey, in addition to those that I've interviewed and interviewing in the future. And so, doing that, tearing down those stigmas and those walls, and creating a space for us, creatives, entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, podcasters, anyone in the creative vein in this space to open up and have these conversations, because what good are you to your brand, your audience, if you're not healed? Because it's going to impact your brand, it's going to impact your business. Because so my friend Mark, for years he used to get on to me like, you're posting pictures, but your audience wants to hear from you. You need to talk. You need to do a reel. You need to do a video. And I was like, I don't want to, because why? I was afraid of my own voice. Then I thought, well, does anybody even want to hear what I have to say? I didn't have the courage or the confidence to do this, But then as I started to do it, it was like, oh, that's freeing. And yeah, it's been scary. It's been nerve wracking at times. But in that, it's like, oh, my thoughts do matter. My voice does
Mhm.
matter. My perspective does matter. I do have something to bring to the table. And in doing that, we're like packages, It's like, oh, what is that? Oh, this, and then you find this, and then you keep going. And I think once we
Yeah.
begin to dig into our healing, we begin to dig and explore how great and awesome we really are. So in doing that and doing podcasting, hearing other people's stories, I'm also learning about myself and realizing a lot of us, we have more in common than we realize. But it's really
Absolutely.
important for us to sit down and to listen to each other. And a lot of times growing up, my biggest thing was I experienced a lot, but I didn't feel in a space safe enough for someone to listen to me. So here
Mhm.
I am as an adult, I'm creating spaces safe enough for people to be heard.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, and I said I'm not gonna cry. I'm not, because I am interviewing you. But people need to see realness, authenticity, transfer. Like, I don't know how ministries have been thriving. How, I don't know why people even take up, why they even pass the collection plate. I don't know nothing about you, cause Pastor, you ain't told us nothing about how God is bringing you through anything. You too busy preaching about how He can bring such and such out of something, right? So I'm glad. Was it Mark who told you that you just need to be a little bit more, right, transparent? And
No,
it's
he
not a
pretty
necessary.
much cussed me out.
Oh, he did.
He
Thank
went
you.
in on me
Thank you.
more than once. He was like, I don't care about you crying and you could be mad. Are you finished? Now come on.
Absolutely. But we need those type of pushes and pulls. And I want the type of friends in my life, in my circle, that are gonna pull me in such a way that is gonna grow me, right? So I'm so thankful that he calls you to shake you just a little bit. Because now I can ask you, was getting out of the military a leap of faith, and why?
Oh gosh, yes. From the
Why?
very beginning, because um I knew I didn't want to do 20 years. I knew that off the bat, but I didn't know how long my stay was going to be. So some things were transpiring in the background, and I was sitting at my desk one day. And at the time, I was dating somebody. I thought we were going to get married. So I was like, I'll end my contract, get out, come home. So let's start planning for that. But in the meantime, I'm praying like, God, if this is not the person you want me to be engaged to, show me, reveal it, and move him out of the way. And guess what happened?
Move.
Move on over. Scooch on over. Scooch on over. That's what happened.
Mm-mm.
That got shut down. So then I'm like, well, I've already told them I'm taking my ball and going home. And I'm the type of person, once I put it out there, it's out there. And they were convincing me, oh, you can stay, whatever. But I had already spoken it. I was like, no, it's time to go. I had no plan. But I was like, all right, I had dropped out of college years ago and I knew, like, all right, I need more education. So then I rolled back into college and I was stacking my classes, got approved for them. And normally, you only get one, maybe two. And Reese, I was taking a full load. Like I took three
That's
classes each
good.
semester. So from August to December, I had enrolled in six classes and took all of them while active duty.
Okay. That's called
I know you're
transition
like, she's crazy.
transition assistance.
Yeah, I did that. And so I was like, I need to go. And then God was like, no, you're going. He was like, because if you stay, you're going to toil and it's going to get harder. So you
Yeah.
have to leave. And so now I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? I had, a little nest egg saved up, TSP, but it was that, no job lined up, no place to live lined up. All I knew was I'm getting out and I'm enrolled in college. No clue. And I'm just like, all right, I need to do this. So these what's it, January of no. June of 2019, I graduated on my birthday, finished my bachelor's degree.
Yay.
The next month, I applied for grad school. In the middle of my grad application, I get a call. I woke up one morning and I had like 13, 14 missed calls from my uncle and my stepmom. So I already knew something was wrong. And called them back and they told me not overnight, my father, he was driving, he had a heart attack and died, and died at the scene while he was driving. So I had to go through that process, went to Ohio with his last arrangements, had paused my grad application, my graduate assistant, a mentor. I had to reach out and tell her what was going on. And she's like, oh, whatever you need. If you need more time, we'll give you an extension just because of this, no problem. So I did that, came back over the weekend. Like I had been gone for a week. And then my GRE was that Monday. So I did all that because I needed my GRE to get into grad school. Mine is not still, I'm foggy. I'm just like I'm there, but I'm not there because I'm still processing my father just
Yeah.
dying. And then I'm like, oh, mission first. We're prepping, doing trial prep, grad application, GRE. So imagine the level of stress. Then I'm thinking, girl, where are you gonna live? You need
Yeah.
a job. Submit the application, got approved. Welcome to the university. Excited, but I'm like, where are you going? So do all this, leave the Navy. I'm on the road driving from California back east, back this way. I'm in Charlotte. So I stopped in Tennessee. Um, and I'm on I-40 East on the phone while I'm driving, which is a no-no, looking up apartments.
Mm.
So in my prayer journal, I was like, God, I know I want hardwood floors. I want a big closet. I want an island. I want big window. I wrote down all these things I wanted. So I found this one apartment. Didn't know what neighborhood it was in. Had no clue how far it was from school. All I knew was the picture was pretty.
Yeah.
So I was on the interstate in Arizona. Did all the paperwork. Did all the process. Approved. We got an apartment. Great. Yay. Still don't have a job yet, but I have the apartment. Thanks, TSP. So, so I had that locked in, and got long story short, got here to Charlotte, got the apartment, got the keys, sight unseen, opened the door. Everything I wrote in my prayer journal, it was there.
Yeah.
The hardwood floor, the island, the big closets, the big windows, everything I wanted in my prayer journal was exactly what it was when I walked in my apartment. I was like, great. So I'm starting school, have my place, still looking for a job. So I'm like, God, I know I need X amount of dollars. I'm in this large city. I don't know anybody. Got online, and every day I was just throwing my resume out there. And like 3.5 weeks, boom, job at a law firm. And it was making in the range I was asking God for. And it's just like everything that he did, it was in such a timing. I kept telling myself, God is not gonna put his reputation on the line and tell me a lie. And
Hmm.
I was like, God, you've taken me on deployment, you've taken me across the world, you've taken me to different states and different countries. And if you could do all that for 8 years, I know you can give me
Surely.
a day in the top, like that's,
Yeah.
okay, damn. And he did it. And it
Yeah.
was like every time I moved, that scripture kept coming back to me, Genesis chapter 12, 1, 2, and 3. And every time he's moved me, it's been the next level up than the previous. So there's never been a time where he's moved me and I stepped back. It's always been a progression. So if he
Yeah.
took me from the military, he's not going to put me back in the civilian world and have me walking backwards. And I kept telling myself that. I'm like, there's no way he's going to put his reputation on the line, being God, being the provider, and just let me fall on my face.
Right.
Like his name is on me. His
Right.
name is on me.
But you got to think though, it's not that you didn't have a plan. You had a plan. The plan has already been made for you. You just had to
But I
walk.
had to trust the process. You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
like my pastor would say all the time, you have to trust God when you can't trace him.
Hmm.
I had intended to leave the Navy, but not like that. But the thing was, I kept feeling the pull, hey, you need to leave. And some of
Hmm.
it, Reese, I did not understand because he was like, if you don't leave, you're going to toil. And so going back to when I started getting my undergrad degree, so at the time when he was like, you need to enroll in school, I'm like, God, I don't have any money. Like I'm giving him all these reasons why I can't do this. And he would just say,
Hmm.
do it. So I befriended the lady that was in missions, a representative at the university on base. And I kept saying, well, I don't have this. And she was like, don't worry about it. Just apply. And I'm like, well, what about the application fee? And she was like, well, your active duty will waive it. Okay, cool. So then I get accepted. And at that time, TA was like $3,500. And I'm like, I'm taking all these classes. Where am I going to get the money from? In my mind, I'm just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Just, worried. And she kept saying, hey, don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? So I enrolled in the school, got accepted. And so because we're active duty, we got a discount on the credit per hour. And then I want to say that Tuesday, the Navy sent an email saying, we're going to increase the tuition assistance by $500. So when I get my tuition bill, it was exactly the same amount as what they were giving me to the penny, to where I didn't even have to worry about it. And it was like, I didn't owe any money. I'm worried about, the book. I'm like, well, what about my books? She was like, oh, we'll give you a book voucher. So the only thing I paid for was the
Yeah.
calculator and some notepads. And so the bill
Honey, the way
was it,
was made.
yeah, it was exactly $4,000 to the penny, and I didn't have to spend anything. And so I went through school, went through the program, and I graduated on Friday. And then that Tuesday, the Navy sent an email and said they were cutting tuition assistance and there would be no more money.
Oh.
So he allowed it. He opened the door long enough for me to go in, go through school, get all my classes funded, graduate on Friday. And then Tuesday, the Navy sent an email, Tuesday or Wednesday, and the money was cut off. And then I remember because
So you used up all the money.
My shipmates were running around trying to get student loans. Some of them had to drop out of the classes. But and so when God tells you to do something, you have to obey that, because that window was open but for so long.
Yeah.
And then it closed. Now,
That's
what if I had listened to him and I would have missed that opportunity? Then I would have been getting out, and then I would have been using my GI Bill unnecessarily.
Right.
When I could have done it on the government's dime for free. So yeah,
absolutely.
That's
good. Okay. That's good. My spiritual mother was just talking about that. She made a post this morning talking about listening to the Spirit. It's not just listening, it's the moving. Like we hear, it's good to hear. People like, I heard a word, but then to move, that requires a high level of faith. So I'm glad I got some big faith folks around me. Right. So now that we know that you took a leap of faith, what keeps you up at night?
Oh, my mind is always running about what's next. Strategy. Am I doing this right? Should I be doing this? Anybody that's a real creative, at least we joke, at least every 45 to 90 days, we joke about, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing?
Mm-hmm.
It's a running joke, but it's true. You do question, like, am I really doing this? Am I making an impact? Should I just stop and be a regular person, do the 9 to 5 and blend in with society? I think about, man, I've been doing this for 2 years, 3 years, and you're still waiting for that break. You're still waiting for your turn and your time. I'm rooting all my friends on, but yet it's kind of like, okay, God, see me over here. All these things run through my mind. I also think about just things from the past and looking at my life as far as how long I've come. And there's been times I've sat in my living room with tears in my eyes, just thinking about, man, like I went through that and I'm here.
Yeah.
Man, I survived that, because I know people that went through those things and it took them out.
Took them all the way out.
And they came out and they look like what they've been through, literally. And it's no shade to them, but it's just so many things come through my mind as far as what could have been. Sometimes I look at choices I made, I'm like, man, I can't believe I did that. But I'm like, you know what? But I learned something from it. So I'm always in a reflective mode. It's like I think ahead and behind me at the same time. Like I'm reflecting, but then I'm looking ahead as far as what could I do next, or what could I have done better, or next year, what is my next goal? So I'm always thinking about something. So yeah. And I think the biggest thing is I fear running out of time, because you look at people and they leave here just like that. And my thing is, we have God to speak words over our lives. And it's like, man, I want to accomplish everything that was spoken over my life. I want to see those things happen and be able to enjoy it, not when I'm old and gray, but in my prime.
Well, let me drop in real quick, because I hear the Reverend, like he ain't here, but I heard something that he would normally say, right? We always think about getting to the promised land because of what God showed us. But God showed Moses the promised land, but Moses didn't make it to the promised land.
I know that, and I can't stand it, because I don't want to see it. Like I want to inhabit it. I want to inhabit the land. And
no, absolutely.
It's like I'm always pushing, because I'm in a space now. I don't want to do anything that would jeopardize me from acquiring the things that I've been promised,
Yeah.
and so now um I'm more cognizant of my life or what I'm doing. Just what I'm saying? I'm just a little more critical, if
Yeah.
that's the word. Like I don't want to delay because I've made choices in the past where delayed some things and maybe it nullified some things. And now I'm just like at a point, I'm like, God, I don't want to do anything that's going to cause any more hindrance because I've already done that. So
Mm-hmm.
let's get this train going. And what do I need to do to make this thing happen? So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, absolutely,
Not
absolutely. But
perfect. I'm not perfect. Lord knows I'm not, but we live and we learn.
yeah, and I think the desire to want to obtain the promised land and to seek all the good things that God has for us, just the yearning for that is what keeps us, in step with Him. I have just tried to shift my mindset a little bit to I feel like the old folks. Lord, if I don't see it for me, if my kids get to see it,
Why don't
right?
you have any kids? Oh my God.
Listen, like listen.
I need to
I
see.
understand. I understand. But even if it's not for me, oh God, can it be for my friends or for the folks that are connected to me? And I'll say this before I go into the next question, because the next question is really good, right? It was not until I wasn't worried about the result until my life started shifting. And I think as culturally, traditionally, and in our religion, we do if I do this, then God will, or God, I'm expecting you to do this thing. And so I'm doing this, but for the because, right? And so now I've shifted just a little bit to say, God, I'm not doing this because you're going to bless me. You already told me that you're gonna bless me,
Mm,
right? You told me that you promised me that, so I don't have to in the back of my mind say, okay, well let me treat folk kind, because if I treat folk kind, then folks gonna be good to me. Because guess what? What happens when people are not kind to me and I'm kind? I'm kind to everybody, but
mm.
folks do me weird, and I be like,
What's the
what
problem?
is going on? Like, what's going on, right? And so if I allow me not having things be reciprocated because of what I'm putting in the universe, if I allow that to set me back, then I am really setting myself back. So I understand, I know you, and I know what your heart desire is. That's why I can speak to you in such a way. And I know the low key shade when you say, well, I ain't got no seeds, but yet, right?
Don't
However
put me
they
on
come.
blast like
Yeah,
that.
let's get into this next question then. Let's get into this next question.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I see you rocking your nice shirt. Right. I got that one. I got to get the other colors. So black good men still exist, and they do,
Good
right?
black men still exist. Yes.
Right. They do. Why the passion for this narrative?
You know, I'm so passionate about this narrative because one, it's true. I think, particularly as Black women, we go through experiences in life, particularly whether it's particularly dating, and then we want to say, "Oh, there's no more good men out there," or the rhetoric that we hear, and then we also look at what society says about Black men. We see what society does, what they do to Black men, and it's disheartening because
Yeah.
without that strong male, where's the family?
Mhm.
Not to say families have not gone on because there are amazing Black women out there, but when we look at systemically the importance and the role of the Black man, and once he's been removed out of the house, just out of from a historical context, when we look at the structure, the social economic strength of Black communities, once that was broken down and taken away, you know, it started even back in slavery, particularly in the 1950s, 60s, but especially in the 70s, the cocaine 80s, and the prisons pipeline in the 90s. And we see this tremendous breakdown of the family because why? He's not there,
Mhm.
and he's penalized for being there. And I know for a fact that if we support our brothers, build our brothers, and give them a space to heal, grow, and cultivate within themselves, we're gonna get the benefits of that as the women.
Absolutely.
Our kids, those that have kids, our communities, our homes, our families, our businesses. So it's necessary. Just as we need to affirm them. As they need us to affirm, we need them to affirm us as well. And there
Mhm.
needs to be a reciprocity because we see now on social media um, these narratives. That's why I don't date black men, and that's why I don't date black women. What's so funny? I don't hear any other race of people doing this. I don't
Yeah,
hear, and if it does, I don't hear about it. But I don't hear about it from the Asian community, the white community, the Hispanic community, the Jewish community, the Italian community.
yeah,
It's only in our community that we see and hear this combative conversation, combative communication, and so
yeah,
toxic and it's so unhealthy. And it's like, why do we do that to each other? And so in this space now, I feel like it's kind of a reawakening of Black consciousness. We saw it in the late 80s and early 90s and then died out. But now we see a resurgence of our Black is beautiful, Black
yeah,
magic, Black boy joy. And it's coming back around again. And so now we need to reinsert this narrative back into our communities and say, no, Black queen, you're beautiful, you're awesome, you're dope. Little
yeah,
Black boy, little Black girl, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful. Hey, Black man, I see you, you're dope. And it's like, why
absolutely.
not be passionate about that? Our fathers, our brothers, our cousins, our uncles, our god brothers, our friends, our fraternity brothers, our pastors, our deacons, they're all great Black men.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
they
is my
some
this is my plug, girl. Listen, if y'all don't have this shirt, it's wrong that y'all waiting to Father's Day to get the shirt. But if y'all already got it for Father's Day, ain't nobody mad. Bless you, real good. But when I wore my shirt, the few times that I have already, people were like, I don't know if they was looking at me or the shirt, but either way, they was like, dang. And one guy, he tapped his wife. He was like, you see her shirt? And she looked. And I said, because they do. And he was like, yeah, they do, right? And so just was so excited that I was excited about it. So I admire you for having this level of passion when it comes to rebuilding what people see us at, like the first thought. When you think of good men, when you Google good men, Black men don't even show up.
they do not. And I
Right.
know because when I was creating this shirt and looking for, images, not the case.
Yep, not the
Not
case.
the case. And even for Black women on Google, same thing.
Yep,
And
same thing.
so I'm like, this is a problem that when you Google for us in that narrative, it's not even there. And so
Yep.
also going back to something I said earlier, you speak what you get. So if you say all men are dogs, all men are there's no good Black men out, whatever that's negative coming out of your mouth, when you walk out and those guys approach me, yeah, that's what you're gonna get. So
So,
if
hey, you leading into my next question then, because good Black men do exist. So this is the impromptu one.
mm-mm.
Okay, so do you feel like this a good Black man exists for Cam?
Say that again. What?
Does a good Black man exist for you?
Yeah, I would say so. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the shirt.
But
I mean,
why your I do that? And I asked you that because I asked my sister that she's single, right? And she said, you know what, that's a good question because sometimes we as women, Black women, we will believe a thing can happen for somebody else. But deep down, because it hasn't happened for us, we don't really believe that it can happen for
I
us.
had
Does
to
that make
learn.
sense?
No, I do, and I had to learn that because of the type of people I dated before. Um, I dated out of how can I word this? I dated out of subconsciously how I felt about me, what I thought about
Mm,
me, and
mm,
what was so cliche, but it was like I was attracting because I felt like this was what was here.
mm.
And I hate to use the word settle, but that's what I was doing. I was settling. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So I figured, well, I'm in this space or I'm at this point in my life, so I might as well just date this, whatever. But
yeah,
after my last relationship, it was like it shook me alive. It awakened me. Was like, no, no, girl, you're a queen. You deserve this.
yeah,
This is what you deserve. And so now, yes, I can say that with confidence because um, when you go through therapy and you start um, doing the unpacking process, what I call it's like an investigation. Like, what is the common thread? And you start looking at stuff from your childhood and people around you. And you start realizing there's a common denominator and you're selecting based on what you know. So when you look
Yeah.
at what's happening in childhood, certain characteristics or personalities of key people in your childhood, you subconsciously search that out when you're dating, and you don't even realize it. But that's because this is what I'm used to subconsciously. So that's what you're attracting. But once I got to a space, well, I would say within the last year or so, doing therapy and just having some what I call breakthrough moments with my therapist. And when it happened, I remember I started crying
Yeah.
because I was literally admitting why I had been dating the way I had. And it was like me confessing this to my therapist, but honestly to myself. And then in that I was saying, no, but Camille deserves this. But Camille deserves that. And it was like when that happened in that session, Reese, it was like something shifted. And so now I still have
Woo!
approach me, but now I can say, "Oh no, thank you," and I don't have to tear him down like, "Nah, you can't." I don't even have to do that. I can say, "Oh no,"
Yeah.
and keep going because I can see it, and it's like something. And one of my friends was like, "Well, girl, what's wrong with him?" I'm like, mm-mm. Because it's coming out of their pores or their spirit. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "No, thank you, I'm cool,"
Yeah.
because it's not resonating. It's resonating, but not in a positive way, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm able to say no. And it's not about me being picky or being stuck up. That's not the case. It's just I can, and even after having a conversation, I talked to someone on the phone beginning of this year, and we talked on the phone, even FaceTime like 3 times. And in those 3 conversations, everything I needed to know and see about that person, I was like, I'm cool. And they got
Yeah.
agitated. Why are you not taking my advances seriously? Like, get an attitude. And I just politely responded, I'm just being cautious. I'm just being observant. Oh, well, you just need to heal and da 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 da. Well, you must not like dark dudes. I mean, like on the whole thing, my father
Yeah.
was a dark man, so that's not the problem.
Yeah.
But in that, I started to see, oh, now you're projecting your insecurities. And in that conversation of me listening and talking, just going, things they were saying. And that's one thing I would say, ladies, listen to
Mhm.
what he says, how he says it, and also what he's not saying. And in
Yeah.
3 conversations, I was just, I'm good.
Yeah. You asked the right questions. We're gonna have to come up. We're gonna have to talk about that later when we're talking about that other stuff. Asking the right
Yeah.
questions.
I know. I hope I answered the question. If
Yeah,
I
no, you did. You did. And you answered it so good that you went into the other stuff that Pastor was told me. He was like, you probably should ask that. But you already answered it when it was going to be what personal journey in your life led you to choosing the type of man or men that you've been choosing. And you already answered that organically. So he was definitely in the spirit with that.
and I
Um,
think that also comes with we really knowing and understanding our worth because of being touched inappropriately as a child or experiencing date rape, in college. All these things chip away at your worth and your value and your
mhm.
self-image as a little girl. So by the time you're young, a young woman or an adult, your self-view can be distorted, especially if you don't
Yeah.
have someone in your life pouring back into you, cultivating you, building you up, validating and affirming you. And I didn't have that. So as I was getting older and older from a little girl, um, little Camille was being chipped away, chipped away, chipped away, chipped away, chipped away. So by the time I got to 23, the one person that I felt that saw me and gave me a space to express myself, my grandmother, when she died, that broke me to the point
Yeah.
that I tried to take my life, not once, but twice. And
Yeah.
it was because I felt, well, who's gonna love me now? Who's gonna listen to me now? Who's gonna hug on me and love on me now? Because I felt like
Yeah.
I didn't have that anymore. But it was because over time, chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. And it's like, man. So then I went from 23 up until, that time period where I am now, like going through things. But
Yeah.
then I was like, let me do some therapy, let me do some healing. And at first it started out just a space, just a vent. You
Mhm.
know, this happened and that happened. Had a great therapist and she let me do she understood the assignment. But at some point it was like, okay, stop. Now we need to look at some things. Okay, all this stuff has happened. But now, what are we gonna do to change the trajectory of
Right.
life? And that's when it went from venting to now you got to participate. And a lot of people feel like you just take something, go here, fix it. No, no, because you played a role in that too. And
Absolutely.
so now you have to put your hands to the wheel, to the plow, and now you have to participate in this healing process.
Absolutely. That's the hashtag shift. When I say shift, I feel like chills. Oh, bless your name, Jesus. Comes across my whole face because too many people, and I hate that that is a story for us. Too many women have experienced some type of trauma where someone has overstepped a boundary. And it takes us years to figure out what a boundary is, let alone when someone is pushing it, because it then becomes, oh, you got an attitude. Wait, I just said no because I don't want you touching me, and I don't, in your breath stank. Back up. So right. And so it becomes offensive when you tell people what your boundaries are. Like, how are you offended because of my boundary? Now that I have a voice, you have this voice. Now people are offended by your voice. And
Yeah,
so I'm grateful that you are taking power of what your boundaries are,
yeah,
and you have taken the pieces of Camille and made it to one person. And what I like about the healing process is not I am healed, it's continuous. I am
it's a
healing.
continual process. And the thing is, as far as the boundaries, not even in relationships, but in friendships,
Yeah.
always the one calling, texting, checking on everybody. Oh, I hope you had a great day. And if someone had a problem, I was stopping everything I was doing to listen to this person. But then when I needed someone to listen to me, no one was there. And it was
Yeah.
because I feel like, oh, I'm being a good friend because I'm always available and I'm always making myself here for you to just hear, because I felt like if I did that, I would be accepted.
Yeah.
And so I was even putting myself in dangerous spaces with friendships as far as anytime day or night, call, text. I could be tired answering the phone. But why was I doing that? Because I was looking for validation and acceptance.
Yeah.
And I wanted people to like me. But when I realized the moments I needed someone to be there and I wasn't getting that in return, deep down I was feeling away.
Mm-hmm.
And so through therapy, it was like, why do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Stop that.
You
It
better refer to your Navy knowledge when you are going into an unknown situation and you are approaching a fire. What's the first thing that you do? Boundary men, come on, let's set the boundary. Because I don't know what's on the other side, and because I don't know what's on the other side, I have these barriers here to protect me from getting to you, if that's the case. Because sometimes the boundaries is for your protection, not necessarily mine. Because I can be a
Yeah.
little cuckoo,
But
right?
once I started setting some boundaries and not always answering every call, every text, and it's not to act funny, but
Yeah,
realizing I'm in a space where it's not reciprocal. Oh, let me pull back
yeah,
because I'm not going to give you all of me and just here and,
yeah,
and then making myself available for people that are emotionally available for me.
yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
a door for resentment and other things. And so when I started putting boundaries up, and even with my phone, after a certain time, I'm not available because why? That's my time. I've
Yeah,
gone through a whole day of work and branding, whatever is going on through my day. And from this time, it's allocated for me to unwind and unpack myself mentally, recharge spiritually,
absolutely.
whatever I need to do, whatever Camille needs to get herself calm and relaxed so she can get some sleep. If
Yeah,
that means putting my phone on do not disturb from 8:30 to when I get up at 5:36 in the morning, I'm gonna do that. If that means me not answering a call or text until after 9 a.m. till I get my day going, because when I wake up, I'm doing morning devotion, having my quiet time and my coffee, and I don't care who's texting or calling. I'm not gonna respond unless it's an emergency until after 8, 9 o'clock.
yeah.
And
I'm gonna
setting
start doing that.
I'm telling you, it changes the day. Going to work, I'm listening to my music or whatever it is I want to listen to. I'm getting ready for work. I'm listening to Dr. Brian or whoever is playing just to get that inspiration for the day. And so at night, unless I'm podcasting or whatever, some things cut after
Yeah,
39 o'clock. Nope. And in the morning, I'll get back to you after 9 a.m.
See, so you segue into my next question. So, how has being an influencer impacted your life?
You know what? I don't feel like I'm an influencer.
But you are. So, how is it impacting your life?
I hear what you're saying, but I feel like I don't. But I think in to answer your question, more cognizant on what I'm putting out as far as my content.
Yeah.
Because I'm learning more. I have younger women um watching, and when I say younger, 18 and under, there's a whole generation of younger women that I was not aware of that every now and then from back home that peep in on my social media. So yes, I like to have fun. I love to cut up outside of just podcasting all the time. But selfies and things like that, yeah, I'm more aware of the messaging I'm putting out there because I don't want anything that's contradictory to um, who the person I'm attempting to become, the woman I'm attempting to grow into be and to grow into. I'm not doing anything like crazy behind closed doors, but I think there's a greater awareness when
Hmm.
I post something or write something on LinkedIn, ensuring like, hey, this is informative or it's going to make you think. I speak up when necessary, particularly when it deals to systemic racism within our community. I'm not going to bite my tongue on that. Period.
Yeah.
It's not. You know, even with my shirts about the hair touching, that I released a couple weeks ago, my brand. Like that's a real thing because we need to
Yeah.
have these conversations. Like, well, why did she make a T-shirt about hair touching? Because it's going on and it's happening.
Yeah.
And no, you can't touch my hair. You
Yeah.
know, we deal with as Black women, we deal with microaggressions every day. Black men dealing with microaggressions every day. So I'm not going to apologize for that. If I see a story on social media that I feel like is not getting enough gas or steam, I'll retweet it. Hey, I'll post it on LinkedIn. Hey, this is a 2-minute read. You need to read this. Whether people read that or not, that's up to them. But being in the digital media space, um, yes, I know there's a lot of people there to entertain and gossip, but there's also a responsibility with this microphone, and I think we need to understand the brevity of this space that we have. This weekend, I was in DC at the African American Museum. And one section that really stuck out to me was when they got to the area about media, podcast, media, and news media entertainment. And
Hmm.
they were talking about the publishing companies and the news outlets and the Black journalists and printers and authors and those that own magazines, like Mr. Johnson with Ebony Magazine, and just seeing Ida B. Wells, she was, with the Star. And it's just like, do we realize our ancestors put their life on the line to report the news about things that were happening to us? They could have been lynched, hung, burnt, beaten,
Yeah.
jailed, all of the above. And to know that this microphone, somebody paid the price to even have this microphone, literally, like that's important.
Yeah. So
So
I'm confused because you just spent 3 minutes talking about what you do and the importance of it, but you said in the same sentence you're not an influencer. Is being an influencer, learn me something, is being an influencer attached to a number? Because if I'm looking at you and you got your lashes done and your eyebrows and you got your hair laid a certain way, when I'm taking my selfies, I'm like trying to hit that same angle. Or if you walking or strutting and you going to your brunch, it's like a whole vibe, right? And so if I can just channel my inner Cam, like wink, wink, I'm doing good. So I'm trying to figure out, why are you not saying you're an influencer?
I guess I'm just like, I'm just doing me, you know. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's just like, hey, if I do a thing about brunch, I was like, hey, y'all had brunch, but I don't really think about it like that.
So
It's like,
can we make a pact, us and everybody that's watching and that will watch, that you will never, ever, 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 ever again say that you are not an influencer?
okay, I'll take it.
Okay. Because I mean, you a child of the Most High.
That is
So,
true. I guess
so, but
when I think influencer, I'm thinking like beauty brand, like up there. And I'm
yeah,
like, that's just me. But that's the thing. That's the introvert me. That's the other side of me where I'm like, oh, I'm just me. And at the end of the day, regardless of on paper what it looks like, oh, she's done this, she's done that. I'm like, hey, I'm just Cam.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
are.
D.
Yeah, you are just you, but I know that you serve a big God, and I believe that the what we speak is what we have, and you absolutely have the platform to reach millions across the world. You already like podcasting in Africa, like you tripping. So when you say you're an influencer, I'm just like, wait, let me go Google what influencer is because
I mean, I get, and maybe that's something I need to work on because literally, I'm just like, I'm the girl from Nashville.
despite not humble, small beginnings. I don't know what verse it is. I'm not really big on like being able to quote specific
Yeah,
verses.
despise not thy humble beginnings. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm just the girl from Nashville.
Okay.
God.
Okay, that's good. But you are an influencer. You are definitely impacting on the scale for which you have the capacity. And oftentimes, when people even start ministry, they may start a ministry at the house, and it may just be them and their children. And then they praising God outside of a garage, and then the neighbors hear it, and then they say, "Hey, what's going on?" And then before you know it, the neighborhood coming, and then somebody else say, "Hey, where y'all going?" "Hey, I'm going over to the Ponder's house. They got their garage wide open, and they making a lot of noise. We finna go see what they talking about." And before you know it, you have a whole community, and it just grows, and grows. So I've been following you ever since you said you wanted to do your lash line. Ever since you had us doing sew-ins and
Yeah,
filling
you
bundles,
used
and
to my room when we're on base. I used to hang out and just talk and oh
you've
gosh,
grown,
I
you're growing. The adversity and opposition is causing you to blossom in a way that you don't even understand. So I get offended when you ain't small, you big. Like I got big friends, I got big faith folk that are my friends, and I take that serious. So I know I'm looking at the time, trying to be mindful of your time as well, but I need to know, this is a question, and you can go as deep as you feel the spirit is leading you to go, right? Because you're such an introvert, I know there are some things that you are still keeping on reserve. All right. So the question is, what is one thing that you wanted to keep to yourself? Like if we had not ever done this show, this talk, right? Never had this conversation. You wanted to keep it to yourself, but you now feel compelled to share because you believe it will help others. What would it be?
Oh, I think I had talked about it last week was the molestation, and because that happened in a church arena, that's
Mm,
something that's still not really discussed. I guess for like maybe the Catholic Church, maybe so, but particularly growing up, in the Pentecostal church or whatever, that's still not really talked about. And just in general, as far as things Black women experience in the pews, and
yeah.
it's like there's like a slow death happening in the pews. People shout over a lot of stuff. Um, there's a lot of um, outward expression, but then where's real ministry coming in at as far as to address things women, and I'm pretty sure men have experienced things, but that's not, clearly I'm not a man. So I can't speak on that. That's not my journey, my story, but particularly for women, as far as things we've experienced within the four walls. Even if you were not a minister per se, like me being a PK, which adds on a whole nother layer to that. And as far as when you see your parents or in our parents um, ministering and attending to the needs of people in the congregation, but it's like, don't you see me right here?
Mm-hmm.
You have all this energy for all these other people, but where is that same energy for what's within your own house and things like that? I think those things are not discussed. Also, we don't talk about depression enough. It is coming out more, but I feel like that's something that we need to discuss more. Suicide, you know, um, and also just worth and value. And I think some of those things, once we begin to really peel it back more and then have a circle of people around you to say, hey, you're dope, you're awesome, you're great, and can reaffirm you, it's like one by one pulling out that bad stuff. And now we're going to pour in some good stuff.
Yeah.
It's not an overnight process because um, what happened was not an overnight process. But I think the more we begin to change our speech, it's going to also start changing your circle.
Yeah.
Who are you surrounding yourself with? You know, um, if you're sitting around a group of women, oh, these N words, they get on my nerve, doing that, what I call gender bashing,
Yeah.
you know, you're doing that. Oh, well, girl, I'm just trying to make it. If I can just get to next Friday, your speech.
Yeah.
Not saying, man, Reese, um, the juice is the thing. You girl lost 12 pounds. I
Hey.
see like let's
Yeah.
change that. And
Yeah.
once I started to change my speech, one of the things I said, gosh, the album Donna Lawrence, A Law of Confession, when that album came out,
That is a good album.
that album I feel like was the domino for my life because at that point in my life, I was at my wit's end. I was at my wit's end. My grandmother had died, my uncle had died, then my grandfather had died. Excuse me. So I was just like, God, this is not the business. I need you to get me out of here. I
Yeah.
don't know how, but I at that point I realized there's gotta be more than this. I know you have more for me than this.
Yeah.
And so that album, I started like, quoting the words, the songs, and that's when things slowly like opened up and the door opened for me to join the military and to leave because everything around me had just drained me dry. My job, my church, my family, like everything. I was done. I was just like, I got to get out of here. I feel suffocated. I feel stifled. I'm of no use to myself. I feel like I didn't have the stuff within me at that time what Camille needed. And so I needed a shift. And when you get to that point when you've already hit bottom like that, you're gonna look for another out. If you're for real, you're either going to sink or swim, as they say. And I was like, I'm not Malcolm Phelps, but we're gonna doggy paddle out of this thing. And
Absolutely.
then that's when it was just like, joining the military opened so many doors for me, even though I knew I wasn't going to be there forever, like my whole life. But it gave me a chance to kind of regroup and reset and think like, okay, hey, now did make some mistakes while I was there? Of course, yeah, it's life, right? But at the end of the day, it was just like when I came out so much better when I came in because I had a greater sense of who I was. I had education. I had been around different people. I met people like you. And it
Yeah.
was just like, okay, still figuring some things out. But yet it was like my steps were being ordered. Now I'm getting direction. And now I'm like, okay, that was cool. I did that. I survived it. But God, I know you have more for me. Military did a lot, but
Yeah.
it was like, God, I know you have more for me. So it was like, okay, Peter, come on, step out again. And again, that trusting, what we talked about at the beginning, you want more, but you can't get it staying here.
Right. You gotta move.
You got to move.
Yeah.
So here I am in Charlotte, North Carolina. But again, trusting faith and knowing deep down, God, I know you have more for me. And what's so funny, the last, I want to say 6 months or so, having that same feeling again. God, I don't know what it is, but I know you have more for me. Where is it?
It
And it's
must be in Atlanta because you be there all the time, honey.
I don't know. I was in DC, but it's just like I'm in a space of really enjoying where I am right now. I'm really enjoying the freedom, the autonomy God has given me. Just not just exploring different cities, but myself. Oh,
Yeah.
let's try this. Let's do that. Hey, this is cool. Let's check this out. And let's just take the training wheels off this thing and let's see how fast this thing can really go. And that's where I am right now in my life. I'm just truly just exploring my capabilities, finding out more and more about myself every week, like, oh wow, but at the same time, being here in Charlotte, I did join my grad chapter for my sorority here, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I'm still in a space where I'm still to myself a lot. So I have those moments to still wait, be quiet, reflect, hear, listen. And it's just a really great space I'm in. And the fact that I can maneuver in and out, I can be around people, but then I can step back and I can be anonymous. I love it. So
Yeah.
It's just a good
That's good.
thing. It's like the sweet spot right now. So
It is a sweet spot, and I always try to encourage you and remind you that there are no left and right lateral limits in God. It's not. Women, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, whether it be the time constraint of age or what I should be doing isms by now. And it really handcuffs us to a thing. And
yeah, I
then,
thought that was a war. Made
right?
some bad decisions when I went through that, but
Yeah,
okay.
right. But listen, I mean, but it's a thing, and right. So you gotta continue. I encourage you to continue to tell that story that there are no left and right lateral limits when it comes to God. He's so limitless, and when we really believe the things that we say, it will show in how we move. It'll show in how we interact with each other. And you are, man. I'm telling you. I cannot even explain the glow that's on you. I don't know what you're using. You have to drop your skin regimen. But
My esthetician, shout out to Gracie Ray Beauty.
yeah, Gracie, okay, you got to give us a deep so when we in the city we can come through.
Black
But
on, black on.
yeah, but it's but it's needed. It's very much needed. We need positive affirmations in our community and beyond, and not just to be what's the word they call what do they say when folks just be talking just to be talking, but not really putting anything into action. We need some actionable items that we can walk away with tonight. So I'm gonna give you a couple, and then you're gonna give me a couple, and then we can close it out. So, Cam, from me to you, actionable item number one: go with God. He's real big. Go with God. He's real big, right? And when speaking, keep the ing, the ings on the word instead of ed, because ed speaks to something that's past tense. Ing, like growing, like not growed up. We are growing. We are fulfilling. We are seeking. We are reaching. Because you say you
Action
feel,
word.
yeah, action words, all about action. And I believe in those action words. We are really activating our faith and saying, God, I'm trusting you to push me through this thing. And I can't even see where I'm stepping, but I know you got me, right? And so that's what I see when I see chemistry. That's what I see when I see good Black men still exist. That's what I see when I see you doing your selfies, no matter what angle it is. Like, and so I can just see God on you. And that speaks volumes to where your platform is going to not only just take you, but everybody connected. And I'm just happy to be one of those folks.
Lashes are staying on. We not.
Hey.
They're on.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I guess takeaways. I would say first of all, for you, you give me tap with the vibes, tap with the brown vibes. There's just
Hey.
such a like a holistic peacefulness about you, but yet it's energetic. Like you have such a glow about yourself. And I've told you before, you and your husband before, just what I see you guys doing as far as for couples,
Mm,
those that are looking to love again, and to take a second chance on love, and to see that despite some disappointments in the past, you can still land in a good space.
absolutely.
So um,
That's a girl. You know, that's my soft spot. God can do, he can do, he
yeah,
can do.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
you guys are exemplary of that. That showing despite disappointments that you can still land in a good space, in a fruitful
Mm.
and prosperous space. So I think it's encouraging to me as well. So yeah,
That's good. Well, thank you. Hey, y'all, listen, I'm not going to close it out because this ain't my thing, but I am so honored that you would allow me to share this space with you on tonight and ask you some deep questions. And I'm sure some that we'll have to revisit, and hopefully we can engage with some folks in the comments as we go back and catch the replay, because this was good. It's definitely the foundation for things to be built upon. This level of transparency is so needed in the world, and folks just got to be real, so that we can get to the ooey gooey stuff, and then we can start building on top of that. So thank you so much, Cam. I'm speechless right now.
thank you. So before we close out, let everyone know where they can contact you and get the dang juice.
Okay, so first, If it's anything to do with faith, family, finances, or fitness, you can reach me at getinstep@yahoo.com. We are waiting to answer any prayer requests. If we have someone that we can send a box of love, you got me on here looking eyes red. A box of love. Anybody who can just use an extra squeeze. We put gift boxes together and we send those off to anyone who can use a boost and some change in their pocket because gas is high, right? And then if anybody wants or needs to have a desire to lose weight the healthy way, plant-based way, the Get Snatch juice has been a game changer for my life. It just helps my skin, it helps my hair, and then my tummy. I ain't gonna show y'all, but it's flat, y'all. It is. And it doesn't require any diet or exercise. It has really catapulted my husband and our life. We have 6 children, and we just have been able to do a whole lot of things, just health wise, and financially, because of what Bye Bye Belly has done for us and has helped us to help other people. So you can just shoot me a DM, Reese Ponder on Facebook. Ain't nothing fancy, right? We real people with real stories and waiting to connect with you.
Wow, I feel so exposed. Boy, this
naked.
Open say you naked.
You butty naked. Yes, but it's good because when we are naked, then we can be clothed with the grace that God provides, right? And so it's good. It's like taking a shower and you jumping in the bed in some clean sheets, you know?
Yeah. So I'm super appreciative of your integrity in handling me in this space. What happened in 2002? Hey, wait a minute.
No, listen, I understand grace and mercy because if the lights had been on, if somebody had flipped the switch on my life, I probably would not have been where I am in my Navy career and even in my personal career. So I'm so glad. I'm so grateful for grace. And I think you have assumed the posture of gratitude. So when I ask you the question, what keeps you up at night? You're always thinking of ways that you can do more. That is the posture of gratitude. God, I know what you gave me. And so I'm going to turn it over back to you. Can I have more so I can continue turning it over? Right. So it's good.
Yes.
Like it.
With that being said, everybody, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Camille.Essick. Tonight's fragrance brought to you by Chemistry Room Fragrances. It smells so good. This is lavender vanilla. I have duos available now on my website. So not only do you get one, you get 2, and power pack full of a punch right there. We know good Black men still exist. That merchandise, all of that is there on my website at chemistryroomfragrances.com. Use the coupon code. It's been scrolling across this marquee. So be sure to use the coupon code GBM15. That way you can save the 15% at the checkout. And follow me here on the YouTube channel. If you haven't do so already, please do so. I am working to build my channel and gain subscribers. So go and follow me on YouTube. That way when we go live, you get the notification and you can stay in the loop. So with that being said, everybody, this is your girl, Camille Essick. I'm the host of the Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and creators connect. Have a good night. Be blessed.
Good night. Thanks for watching.
Come on, Soprano.
Girl, I